I have to ask.
Mhm.
You have endorsed politicians, and you have said that this politician is good. What do you think about the presidential candidate, Donald Trump, that is promoting a wall that you already have? Is there a position of the Chamber of Commerce or of
Um,
the private
right.
sector?
The chamber has not rarely takes any positions in federal campaigns. We are very politically active here locally and at the state level. We don't really engage in federal elections. Um, and we have not taken a position in the presidential
Yes.
race, but we certainly disagree with the presidential candidate Trump, who has proposed some policies that would be greatly damaging to our economy. We greatly disagree with the proposal to build a wall, the deportation plan that has been proposed, the exiting or renegotiating NAFTA, the position of imposing tariffs on imports into the country and forcing U.S. companies to seize manufacturing outside of the U.S. or suffer these great tariffs. All of that is actually counterproductive, and it will greatly damage the U.S. economy. What that presidential candidate fails to grasp or acknowledge or recognize is that the US does not serve as an island. 95% of our customers exist outside of the country. When you impose tariffs like that, when you end NAFTA or oppose free trade agreements, what you're doing is cutting off our US companies from 95% of our customer base. What's going to happen? Those companies are going to leave the US then and just establish elsewhere. They don't need to have access to the U.S. customer base because they can have a small operation in the U.S. and just leave and completely bypass the U.S. We cannot survive as an island, and we cannot cut ourselves off from our major markets, and it's dependent on U.S. jobs are dependent on trade, and it's not manufacturing jobs that are leaving the U.S. It's a change in the industrialization and how products are produced. We're not just trading with Mexico, we're producing together. So when you build a wall, whether symbolic by harming, greatly harming our political and economic relationship with, in often cases, our number one trading partner, you are actually damaging the supply chain that's been created that's very cohesive. We produce we produce products together, where oftentimes products move back and forth across the border 7 times. 40% of the content that we import into the US that he wants to impose
Yes.
tariffs on is US produced. It's produced in the US, shipped across to Mexico to be added in with other components, and then imported back. We're importing on our own products. So now, if you impose tariffs on those products, you're hurting our own companies that are producing that. It just doesn't make sense on an economic base, on a job growth strategy, economic policies. It's very
Well, yeah.
damaging, and you would see some major results, damaging results to our economy, similar to the recession.
What would you recommend in a broad term to the presidential candidates to do in the when they arrive to the office? What is the importance of the border areas, and how can you improve these regions?
Yes, regardless of who takes office, both presidential candidates need to acknowledge that the border region is actually an economic engine for our country. And it's the opportunity for future economic growth, job growth. And we need to seize that opportunity and enhance it. How can we take advantage of this great engine that we have that's the entire US Mexico border region? How can we use that to create and incentivize more growth and make it a destination, not just a place that we want to get through really quickly to get to the other side, but as a destination. There's so much resources and assets there that really can enhance the entire country. And there's statistics about states in the United States that are far from the border that have Mexico as the number one trading partner. New Hampshire, for example, which is all the way on the northern side of the
Yes.
country.
Yes.
Yet New Hampshire's number one trading partner is Mexico. How can we further connect New Hampshire with Mexico? Let's bring us closer together, not further apart. And I think those are some of the policies that the new administration should take into consideration and look to expand.
Okay. What is the Chamber of Commerce is promoting in the future for San Diego? What is the vision that you're gonna create for the future of San Diego and the San Diego Tijuana, of course?
Mm-hmm. Well, we need to take a look at what are the characteristics of our region that makes us strong and unique and competitive globally. And for San Diego Tijuana, it's innovation, it's advanced manufacturing, high tech, biotech, the military and defense. We have a huge military and defense presence. Because of our geographic location, the water, the maritime industry is very important. So those are the key sectors that we're looking at growing and enhancing, working with the veterans community, which is a huge part of our workforce, and developing that, how to better connect our workforce and prepare our workforce for the future industries and those growing industries. We have the largest medical device cluster in the entire world when you combine San Diego and Tijuana. So, for example, how do we enhance and grow that medical device cluster?
Okay.
There's other clusters that are growing too, aerospace, and we can be very competitive. The the San Diego Tijuana region can compete with not just other areas in the U.S., Mexico region, but we can compete against China when we work together globally.
Okay.
And so let's work together to be globally competitive. And we kind of serve as a role model for other board regions on how when we partner together, we can beat out other regions across the world.